Carlos Alcaraz defeats Novak Djokovic at the semi-final stage of the US Open. And Novak Djokovic did not have the answers. He tried his best, but his best was not enough. This is my reaction to the match. And of course, the future of Novak Djokovic. That's right, let's get straight into the match. And it was Carlos Alcaraz, 6-4, 7-6, 6-2. He reaches his second US Open final. 0 sets dropped along the way. At some point, the commentator was speaking about how many break points he's faced this tournament. And it was 8 at some stage. The guy's been seriously good, not just at this US Open, but the entire year. And the reason we're probably not highlighting it even more is because we've got someone else in Jannik Sinner who is doing something similar. And we don't know if Jannik Sinner is going to be in the final yet, but we could be in store for one of the best finals we've seen in recent years. I'm really looking forward to see what happens there. Of course, I'm going to be watching Sinner versus Felix very soon. But back to this one, it is Carlos Alcaraz's first win against Novak Djokovic on a hard court. 7 Grand Slam finals at 22 years old. Third Slam final of 2025. He's won 36 of his last 37 matches, and it's his 60th win of 2025. He's never looked more focused. He's never been more consistent, and he's playing outrageous tennis. And I just sat there this evening watching the entire match, and the second set was close. There was moments I thought, maybe Djokovic can steal this one. But he did look second best for large spells of the match. And I wouldn't come on here and say it was particularly the highest level of match I've seen this year. And I think even between these two, I've seen more thrilling battles and more crazy moments. And I'm not saying we didn't get that, because we did get some really good highlights. And Djokovic certainly had a few of his own, some fantastic backhands down the line. I thought his pace coming to the net, coming to someone, Alcaraz's drop shots was incredible. And it's clear to see that Novak Djokovic is the third best player in the world. The point is him being the third best player in the world good enough at this stage of his career? We know Djokovic only wants the gold medal. He only wants the Grand Slams. He's not interested in being a runner-up. That's not why Novak Djokovic plays this sport. He's consistently, for the last 2 decades, been at the top of the game. He has achieved and completed tennis. What motivation does Novak Djokovic have to still be playing if third place is where he is? And let's be fair, he doesn't look like he can go on and beat Carlos Alcaraz or Jannik Sinner right now. I think this tweet's quite a good one, because Novak in majors since the 2023 Roland Garros, in which he won the 2023 US Open, but didn't play either Sinner or Alcaraz. He then lost 3 times to Alcaraz in 2023. He then lost to Sinner 3 times in 2024. Then lost to Popyrin after the Olympic hangover. That was kind of expected. The body in 2024 Roland Garros and the Australian Open, knee surgery before Wimbledon, and it injured versus Sinner at 2025 Wimbledon. We're seeing a theme. It's Sinner, it's Alcaraz, and they're consistently beating him on the big stage. My question to you guys, is that enough for Novak Djokovic? Because I really don't think it is. This is a good one from Ollie saying Djokovic often prevailed over his 2 greatest rivals, but time is undefeated. Tough to see him out of ideas and energy. And this relates predominantly to the third set. The first set started in a way where Alcaraz looked hungry. He looked like he had a point to prove. Because let's not forget, Novak Djokovic has ruined a lot of big moments in Carlos Alcaraz's short career so far. If you look back at Roland Garros, that time when he got nervous with the cramp, if you look at the Olympics final, if you look at this year at the Australian Open, so not too long ago, Djokovic has done him over in big moments a lot of times. And I felt like Carlos Alcaraz come out of the traps today with a point to prove. He was hungry and he wanted revenge. As the match went on, the second set was very competitive. The level dropped in some spells, but we saw some good moments. And the third set, we saw this. Djokovic out of ideas. He lost the tiebreak in the second. and he looked slumped. He looked tired. He looked old. And it's tough to say, but I remember seeing this exactly the same thing post the US Open loss for Rafael Nadal against TFO at the time. I watched it and I thought, yeah, Rafael Nadal looks old. I think this is kind of the end. It didn't take too long from there. He wasn't very successful after that moment. And I feel a similar vibe and shift here. The difference is Nadal was doing that against TFO. And I don't want to discredit TFO, but he's not Carlos Alcaraz or Yannick Sinner. So there is a difference in that regard where Djokovic can play all of next year and probably still be the third best player in the world. So with that in mind, is that enough motivation for him to stick around and keep playing? Or does he want to pack it in because he wants to win things? And I feel like Djokovic is more of the latter, where he's done everything already. Third place is not enough. If you look at this one, Carlos Alcaraz, the third youngest player to reach 7 finals in the men's singles Grand Slams during the Open era, older only than Bjorn Borg and Rafael Nadal. It is insane because he's tracking and he's on course with the very best. And we know how many injuries Rafael Nadal had in his career and different things with Bjorn Borg retiring so soon. Carlos Alcaraz, if he has a long career and fingers crossed can stay relatively fit, he's got a great chance to break all of the records. More so probably than Sinner because he's a little bit younger, but a lot of time to go on that one. I just think it's extraordinary how he's tracking at this rate with some of the youngest, best players we've ever seen. This is another one. He's from a Nadal fan, so apologies, Djokovic fans. And that is Djokovic knows it's over for him in a match in New York when the crowd starts to sympathy cheer for him. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I said the exact same thing. And I found it funny that someone mirrored my thoughts. I'm sure other people and a lot of people feel the same thing. It's very rare for a US Open crowd to be getting behind Novak Djokovic like they did. They were cheering him on. They really wanted more tennis. Even after the match, when he's walking down the tunnel, he was getting applauded down the tunnel. And this is exactly what he deserves. Such a great champion and an iconic GOAT of this sport. He deserves all the respect he gets. But I feel like Djokovic doesn't necessarily like being cheered. We see the best Djokovic when he's the villain. And he's unable to be the villain right now because he's not competitive enough against Alcaraz and Sinner. And I'm sorry to keep saying it because I was saying it earlier on all the other episodes. There is a gap. There's a gulf on the men's tour right now. I don't think he can right now get close to them guys. And it's been evident in the amount of sets. If you look at him in semi-finals, he's now gone, the second consecutive season without a major title, which is a big indication for me with Novak Djokovic. And he's 0-10 in sets in his 4 semi-finals, but he's still number 3 in the race. So it just goes to show he can go and play in Turin if he wants to. Probably won't. And he's still better than everyone else, but it's not enough to win the big prizes in the sport. So there's going to be a lot of questions, and I'm sure I'm doing this video before the press conference. He's going to be asked about it. I'm interested to see his answer, and me and Ben will discuss it on an upcoming podcast. And finally, just this one to end it. By making the final, Carlos Alcaraz becomes the 6th male player to reach the $50 million mark in career prize money, and he's only 22 years old. Sinner will also do it if he wins the title. I think I said Alcaraz was 23 earlier, but he's even younger than that, which is insane. And yeah, he's doing the business. He's making a lot of money right now. Same with Yannick Sinner. The future is so bright for both of them. They're going for world #1 status. I'm going to go and watch Yannick Sinner versus Felix right now because, of course, I'm hoping to get the Sinner-Alcaraz final. I'll be shocked if Felix can do anything in this semi, but you never know. And we're in store, I think, for a fantastic final. Don't go anywhere. And let me know, do you think this now is the end of Novak Djokovic? Is he going to dust himself off and come again another season? Will he play at the Australian Open? There's going to be a lot of questions asked to him. I'm not so sure he will because for me, he looked old and I don't think he can get to that next level. But I would like to see him still play next year because he still beats pretty much everyone else. Let me know your thoughts. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow for more tennis action.